Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Another panel reaction today for DC Fandome. Now, we're going to be reacting to what turned out to be a Milestone Media panel. And this was on the schedule as a surprise DC Comics panel, so I tuned in, wondering what it would be. There was a lot of speculation if this would be something about the abandoned 5G initiative and how it was coming back, or the endless winter event that's been kind of forecasted for winter 2020. But it turns out this is an announcement panel about Milestone Media and DC Comics. So that came out really weird. Milestone Media, if you recall, was a black-owned, founded comic book company in the 1990s with Dwayne McDuffie, who's now passed on, and Dennis Cowan, and I can't remember the guy's name. He wasn't on the panel, so I can't remember his name. A third guy who was like a business guy. Reginald Hudlin eventually came in to develop later, but he wasn't part of the original crew. But he's majorly involved now. So they created heroes like Static Shock, Icon, Hardware, and Roxy, I think, is the sidekick to Icon, amongst other people. And they all exist in, it's not Detroit. It starts with a D. Dang it. Anyway, so they all kind of exist in their own universe, and it started as an imprint to DC Comics. So there's kind of a weird relationship here with DC. Does it own Milestone? Does it not own Milestone? It's unclear. What is clear is that DC has been trying to put these characters into their comics for a long, long time. When Dwayne McDuffie was still alive and writing the Justice League of America book after Brad Meltzer left, he was putting those characters in that book, trying to reintroduce them to DC Comics and, kind of make it a bigger thing. Then when the New 52 happened, we had a relaunch with the new Static Shock series. It only lasted 8 issues, but it was there. They were trying it, and eventually nothing happened, right? It went away. We haven't seen the characters or anything really in DC's comics for a long, long time. So this panel was kind of a recap of all that, and the animation series. Phil Lamar was also there, who was the voice of Static on the Emmy Award-winning TV show. You may remember on Kids WB from the 90s. So they're basically announcing that Milestone is going to make a return finally to comic books, DC Comics, and all that stuff. But it's not coming until February. I mean, I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit sooner, because it would make it a little bit more relevant. Now, DC did just have their, solicitations come out, and that were saying, and usually they solicit stuff 3 months on, so it's August, so it'd be September, October, November, right? So you could say, like, coming in December, January, that would be a little bit more relevant, I guess, per se. But February is a couple more months more than I would have liked for it to feel like relevant, important news, whereas you might forget about it. But it does give them a long lead time to continue to do interviews and push the announcement of it and stuff like that. So there's going to be an original Static Shock graphic novel coming. I think Reginald Hudlin is writing it. They didn't. I don't know did they announce an artist? I can't remember. There's new digital first content coming, so that'll be out weekly coming. I don't know if I think it's in February, as well as other comics and stuff that they're going to do. But they're also, the important part, I think, for the legacy of Milestone Media is that they're actually going to be putting the actual old legacy 90s comics on digital platforms like Comixology, Apple, Amazon, all that stuff, leading up to the big February relaunch. So that's great. I think that's really cool. I've always heard about these characters and never really had the opportunity to read them, because there are no cons right now to go search the back issues. Anything you would find online is like a pirated version of somebody's old copy, and you're not really paying for it. But I guess cons, you're not really paying for it either. But these comics are now 30 years old, so good luck finding them, I guess, of a small, imprint from the 90s that did have a big impact, but in terms of sales or how many copies are still out there, who knows? So those will become available. What I thought was a little bit of a bummer is that they're not going to put it we're going to put them on digital platforms and DC Universe already to your added subscription. Even though the future of DC Universe is kind of nebulous, who knows what's going to happen there. So that is kind of weird. There's no announcement of like a new omnibus or collections or, hey, we're going to put together the first year in trade paperback for all these titles, followed by volume 2. That would be a commitment, and for something for these legacy creators, for them to put on their shelves, like, hey, here are all my comics right here, I can read them. Every other creator now gets that as part of their deal. You write a comic book, it gets collected, you get a copy of, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, of the collections. You get copies of every issue of issues you write and stuff like that. So, well, why aren't we doing that here and putting them in a premium format that would attract collectors to read them, to buy them? So hopefully we will see that coming from DC Comics soon. But with all the firings and stuff like that, who knows? I mean, the collections department, I don't know if it got, hit with some layoffs or anything. So it's kind of a nebulous time for DC Comics, and a little bit weird to be like demanding things from people who are probably still, afraid if they're going to keep their jobs or not. So let's hope this goes well. I'm interested to see the characters. I really enjoyed reading Dwayne McDuffie's run on Justice League. I enjoyed when he put Hardcase and Icon into the Justice League of America books. I liked the little appearances there. I watched the Static Shock cartoon when I was a child on Kids WB, so I remember seeing episodes of that back in the day. So I'm excited for a return, and I hope it's here to stay, because it seems like Milestone makes an attempt every 10 years or so into becoming a company again, and there's always something that holds it back or something that sabotages it. So if we're gonna do it, let's do it and stick around this time, because I think the start and stop thing is kind of, I don't know, maybe it's kind of waned on fans or collectors, because who knows how long it's gonna last? Is it gonna turn into anything real? People who want movies or animation or TV shows or hell, toys, statues. You can't really create these things unless you're around again and again and again, here, instead of going like boom, pow, in and out kind of thing. So hopefully all the legal issues have settled, and we can have Milestone Media be a true part of the DC universe from here on out. So looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, we got more DC Fandome content coming up. We got Justice League, Zack Snyder panel. We got the Batman coming on. We got the Flash TV show. Lots of stuff coming here from the Casina Batcave. We will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.